Alrighty. Hey guys, Seal here. We're going to be continuing another chapter of Higurashi When They Cry. Last episode, Keiichi played a card game and became a sort of a perverted dictator. Or whatever you want to call that, the shenanigans he pulled in the fucking card game. But I think this chapter is going to be the start of the festival. That seems to be how it's preluding to. We're gonna see. We can see how long this is. I don't think it'll be too long. We did. I do believe, yeah, we did all the tips last time, as per usual. So this time we're gonna be continuing, and we'll see where this goes. A few days had passed since the incident. During that time, either Mion was busy or Rika-chan had to help with the festival preparations, so we couldn't get everybody together for club activities. Even though I thought I would never want to participate again after the years it shaved off my life each time, not having it only made my heart grow fonder. I really am not honest with myself. Today, we finally had our club activities again. These weren't the same old club activities. It's called the Cotton Drifting 5-Demon Firefight. It's one of the biggest events in the club. Yeah, the fucking final showdown.
Keiichi! この浴衣、まだ着れるかしら? ちょっと袖を通してみてくれる?
Mom pulled out an old dusty yukata.
いいよ、浴衣なんて。恥ずかしいから普段着で行くよ。
でもお祭りなんだから着て行きなさいな。
レナとかは普段着でいいって言ってたぜ。浴衣なんか着てったらかえって恥さらしだよ。
I put on the same old vest as usual.
祭りにはレナたちと行くからさ。
Man wears a vest? It's like hot
俺のことは
outside.
放っておいて大丈夫。
そう？じゃあ母さんは父さんが起きたら二人で行くわね。
Dad let out a loud snore from the sofa. That man is conked
あの
out.
調子じゃ夕べも徹夜かな。
急ぎの原稿をようやく発送したとこなの。ひょっとすると起きないかもね。
Seems my dad writes for art magazines sometimes too. I've never read about it though. I wonder if my dad is a really famous artist. As his son, it's a bit strange for me to say, but I can't imagine he's selling all that well. But he's able to feed a family of 3, and my life isn't exactly full of hardships. Damn, Keiichi, being hard on your dad. Maybe he's actually a master painter, and I just never knew it. Moshi moshi. Uh-oh, it is already time. I didn't want them coming here, so I was planning on leaving early and waiting outside.
あらあらレナちゃん。いつもうちの圭一がお世話になってまして。
おばさま、こちらこそお世話になって。
Oh, why are you blushing just for meeting my mom?
そこで真っ赤になるな。実に気まずい。行くぞレナ。
Since Rena would continue to space out if I left her here, I grabbed her hand and dragged her out.
レナちゃん、圭一をよろしくね。
はいおばさま。ケイチ君はレナが命に変えましても。
Then why don't you just do it right now? Jesus, Keiichi. She weighed back even as I was dragging her away.
はいケイちゃん。今日はお腹すかしてる？露店で済ますんだからね。
部活が露天勝負と分かってて腹を無駄に膨らますと思ったかよ。
そうでなくっちゃ。
さとことリカちゃんはもう神社に行ってるのか？
リカちゃんはお祭りの実行委員さんだもん。
Oh,
さ
makes
とこ
sense.
ちゃん
Yeah.
もきっと一緒だよ。
Yeah, those two are separated or paired at the hip, I guess.
そっか。よっしゃ、今日は目いっぱい騒ぐぞ。
We were already in high spirits with just the three of us here. It was way more lively at the Furta shrine than the last time I came, far exceeding my expectations. Throngs of people are crammed between rows of market stalls lined with colorful paper lanterns. Despite that, it is actually quite enjoyable.
すげえ人だな。ひなみ沢ってこんなに人がいたんだ。
綿流しのお祭りはみんな来るよ。多分ひなみ沢の人の半分くらいは来てるんじゃないかな。
それだけじゃないよ。近隣の町の町会や子供会も招待してる。
Makes sense. It's probably a great way to advertise.
そうだよな。俺たちの学校あれしか生徒いないのに、今日は子供の姿がやたらたくさんある。
お祭りの賑やかさはやっぱり子供の賑やかさだからね。
That's true. I agree.
どうもこんばんは。
These two knew everybody we came across. Of course, I greeted them as well, but I still wasn't familiar with everybody yet.
あら、レナちゃん。この間はお惣菜をありがとうね。うちの子も美味しいって喜んでたわ。
いえいえ、気
Oh,
に入ってもらえて嬉しいです。和正くんにもよろしくお伝えくださいね。
よー、園崎のお嬢ちゃんじゃねえの。今年も屋台担いで来てやったぜ。
おっちゃん太った？今からそんなお腹じゃ果ては心筋梗塞だね。
damn, man.
この兄ちゃんは新顔だな。嬢ちゃんの後輩かい？
うちの部員だよ。期待のニューフェイス。侮ると一晩で屋台潰されるよ。
嬢ちゃんのお墨付きかい。そりゃお手柔らかに頼むぜ。
Yeah, it's like a fucking mob boss or something. She's got hands in everywhere. As you could imagine, Mion was chatting with the old guys running the stalls. And she's one
兄
of
ちゃん
them
は
after
元
all.
気いいからね。おじさんたちにすごく人気あるの。
レナも人気あると思うけどな。可愛いし。
That's true. She's really cute. That was, of course, as long as her little condition didn't flare up. As long as she's blushing quietly, she's pretty cute.
あ、レナが？誰に人気あるのかな？あるのかな？
誰かにだよ。
Some people. I evaded giving her a straight answer by roughly toweling her hair. Aw.
露天商は町からわざわざ来てくれるんだよ。やっぱりこういうのがないとお祭りは盛り上がらないよね。
Makes
で
sense.
それを俺たちは荒らして回るわけか。どんな勝負にせよ、俺は負けないぜ。
そうだね。頑張ろう。ああ、
Satoko.
遅いですわ皆様。
Yes, yes, we're sorry. Our most gracious lady Satoko.
レディを待たせるとはケイチさんもなってないでございますわ。
Why you looking? Why you giving that look sassy?
お
Swear.
お、そりゃすまんな。
Yes, yes. Our apologies.
その待たせたレディってのはどこにいるんだ？
ルワンですって？
What? Alright, Satoko is in top form as well. Seems she was all excited about being able to get everyone in the club together for the first time in a while. Sassy.
リカちゃん、かわいい。
Rena let out a elated sigh. Seemed that the real lady had made her appearance.
こんばんはですよ、みんな。
Oh.
圭一もこんばんはです。
いいねいいね。今年も決まってるじゃん。
No.
かわいいかわいい。お持ち帰り。
No, Rena. Rika-chan was wearing a Shrine Maiden outfit. Yep. Rena's little outburst was completely understandable.
リカちゃんの服装は本格派だな。これって本物の巫女さんの服か？
うちのバッチャのお手製。
Oh.
結構本格派でしょ。
They do handle clothes for families,
お
huh?
祭りの最後に大切なお仕事があるからその衣装なの。
I see. Rika-chan was on the executive committee because she performed all the Shrine Maiden rituals for the festival. I mean,
お仕事はお祭りの最後のところだけなのです。
she does share the last name, or surname, I guess, of the shrine. So,
まだまだゆっくり遊べますですよ。ってことはここで時間を無駄にできないということですわ。参りましょう。
よっしゃー。
it felt good to wander around the festival with just the five of us. Mion called everyone over to a stand that caught her attention and proposed a rather odd competition.
たこ焼き早食い勝負。
Okay.
各自購入の上。よーい、ドン。
Standard in vendor stalls, the takoyaki stand. What was especially standard for these kind of events was the fact that they were simply balls of dough, takoyaki in name only. God damn it, Keiichi.
ケイチ君大丈夫？お水お水。ああ、そんな熱々たこ焼き丸飲みなんて自殺行為でございますわ。
作り置きの冷めたやつを購入するのがコツかな。
Ah, those ones are...
実に美味しくないです
Oh
よ。
yeah, that's just rice sitting there. And the stall next to it was a shaved ice stand. It's still a bit, oh my god, it was still a bit too early in the season for that, but right then, it didn't matter.
今度はかき氷にしようぜ。完食早食い勝負だ。レディーゴー。
かき氷の早食いなんて無理。
Gonna get a brain freeze.
体温で少しでも溶かせば。冷たいですな。
Oh.
甘いね。おじさんはシロップ大盛りで頼んだのさ。混ぜればすぐに溶ける。
Those stooges were too late. The moment they chose to tackle it head on was their downfall.
完食だ。
ケイちゃんが？早すぎる。
What did he do?
まさかケイチ君、後ろの金魚すくいのお水を入れたんじゃ。
Ugh! Keiichi, what the fuck, dude? That's disgusting. The
実に
fish
美味し
water.
くない
Yeah,
ですよ。
the fucking fish water, dude. What the fuck? Next to that was another old favorite, a cotton candy stand.
次はこちらにしませんこと？もちろん早食いですわ。ねえねえ、わたあめの早食いなんてどうやるんだろう。
You melt it in water and drink it, maybe? I don't
どう
know.
やるんだろう。
On Satoko's mark, Mion, Satoko, and I all compressed the cotton candy with our bare hands. The time it took to stick the whole thing in our mouths, 3 seconds. What the fuck?
サトコはともかく、ケイちゃんも気づいてたとはね。
Just compress it.
俺を いつまでも新入部員扱いしないことだぜ。
実に美味しくないですよ。
Rika-chan had also crushed it between her hands and stuck it into her mouth.
こんな綿あめの食べ方、きっと日本中でもここだけだよ。
I think only Rena's cotton candy was happy with how it was eaten. But it felt like we'd end up doing stuff like eat noodles to the nose contest or human water pump at the goldfish scoop at the rate things were going. What the fuck? Human water pump at the goldfish scoop? Okay.
それでもおじさんは勝つけどね。
悪時期勝負ではミオさんにはかないませんわね。
That feels like a subtle dig.
ああ、まったく。
何あんたたち、次は焼きそばにブルーハワイかけて食べる勝負にしたいわけ？
No, I don't. Mion, that sounds fucking nasty. Shake, shake. Both Sanako and I shook our heads in unison. Yeah.
さ、今度はちょっと食べ物から離れたゲームにしないかな。
Rena's proposal was a godsend. It's about time we played a different kind of game. It also seemed like neither Rena nor Rika-chan were any good at speed eating or gorging themselves.
じゃあレナ、次のゲームをあんたに任せるよ。何でもいい。
じゃあね。レナは審判だよ。このお祭り会場でかいいものを探してくるの。
Caillou things, okay?
制限時間は1分。上等ですわ。レナの好みは分かってますもの。
よし、多分あれなら勝てる。
やーい、ダン。あれ、ケイチ君とリカちゃんはなんでスタートしないんだろう。
Mia and Sadako dashed off madly, but Rika-chan and I calmly stayed right where we were.
ひょっとしてもう見つけてあるの？かわいいの。もう見つけてありますです。ケイチもですね。
ああ。
なんだろう。楽しみ。
But Rika-chan and I stood motionless for those few moments before Mion and Sadako returned. Keiichi is a real good
こういう形
opportunity
で直接
here
対決するのは初めてだな。
to be like, you're the cute thing, Rena. But I don't think he's gonna do that.
初めてしますです。
リカちゃん、あれで勝つつもりか？
僕も部員です。勝つためなら快速第3条ですよ。
Oh no. Rika-chan sneered to the best of her ability. You're on. Devious child, I swear. Both Mion and Sadako came back, each with their own plan of attack stuffed in their arms.
じゃあ順番にね。1番は部長さんのみーちゃんから。
悪いけどいきなり決めさせてもらうよ。おじさんはこれだ。
Where did she get those? They were old diamond-shaped tin signs.
カレーに蚊取り線香、昔懐かしのブリキ看板だ。どう？
That's very understated, a little too understated, Mion. I used to see those stuck up on barbed wire fences. They're more nostalgic than cute. Can you explain what part of that is cute? Or Caillou, sorry. But there were puffs of smoke noisily shooting out of Rena's ears and nose, almost like a steam train. I didn't get it.
次は私が行くでございますわよ。これでございます。
It was the hand-drawn poster from the Ladies' Society roasted corn stall. It was a really bad sketch done by a housewife. An anthropomorphic roasted corn drawn without any sort of real plan. Its very existence invited a sense of sorrow to the viewer. Weep. That was the sound of blood jetting out of Rena's nose. It seemed to have been rated higher than Mion's. I really didn't get it. It feels like your artistic sense is a little avant-garde by about 5 aeons.
所詮は量産看板。手書きには勝てませんわ。
I couldn't even begin to follow the way these guys were thinking.
では次は僕が行きますですよ。
次はリカちゃんか。小道具もなしにどんな手を使うやら。
She herself is the Kayute. Did you and Satoko both forget? If Rika-chan felt like it, she could simply... After moving back about 10 yards, she began waddling up to Rena. Seeing that, both Mion and Satoko gasped.
しまったー。
Too late. Rika-chan tripped over nothing and lay motionless after falling down. Rena hurried over to her.
リカちゃん大丈夫かな、大丈夫かな。
Rika-chan had a lump on her forehead and tears welled up in her eyes. Only her fingers peeked out from her sleeves. This was the vital part. The palms of her hands were covered by her sleeves. She made just a single sound.
み
Me. Oh.
かわいいかわいい。お持ち帰り。忘れてましたですの。一番身近な手を忘れてましたわ。
Rena's face went completely red, her head bobbing back and forth with excitement. She embraced Rika-chan and began rubbing her cheek against her.
さすがだぜ。
Devious.
どこまで取っても一部の隙もない。
Full
ちびっ
proof.
こ、
She's
み
tiny.
こ、半涙、みー、完璧だ。
Me!
ただの苔を萌えにまで昇華した。これぞまさに芸術と呼ぶにふさわしい。
Moe.
ケイちゃんの方がわかんねえセンスしてるよ。
I'll just pretend the sharp sting of those words cutting through me like a razor was a figment of my imagination. Rika-chan turned her gaze to me with a daunting smile as she was caressed by Rena, who was in full Kayute mode.
さあケイイチ、僕に勝てますですか。
I believe he can. The cold smile is frightening, Rika-chan. It must just be my imagination, but I see a demon inside her sometimes.
ケイちゃんにも何か秘策があってのことだろうけど、何を見せてくれるのかな。
I have faith.
私としましてもケイイチさんのお手並み拝見でございますわ。ひょっとしてケイイチも芸をしますですね。
I basked in their pointed stares. I pulled Rena, who gave no sign of canceling out of Kayute mode, away from Rika-chan.
はうー、かいいのかいいの。ケイイチくん離して。
今から俺がもっとかわいいのを見せてやるから少し我慢しろ。
もっとかいいの。
だがここはちょっとギャラリーが多い。あっちの影行こう。
okay. Rena looked very surprised as I pulled her behind the shrine.
ケイイチさんの企みが見えないでございますわ。
ケイちゃんに限って。いや、まさか。
What are y'all fucking thinking he's doing?
ファイト、王です。
After a bit, I returned. And a bit after that, so did Rena, dragging her feet.
まさかケイちゃんのやつ、
Oh,
ねんね
sneeze.
のレナ
Ow.
に変なことしたんじゃ。
No, he didn't do anything. Mion and Satoko passed by me, heading straight to Rena.
変なことって一体何でございますの？
For a moment, Rena was too dazed to realize someone was talking to her.
なんだ、みーちゃんか。大丈夫？ケイちゃんに変なことされなかった？レナ、変なことはされなかったよ。かなりの重傷ですわ。ケイチさんは一体何を見せましたの？とっても可愛かったよ。
How?
可愛い？レナ、あんた何を見せられたの？
Rena let out a really long how? Her eyes sparkled as she spoke.
可愛かったよ。ケイチ君のお父さん。
Whomp! Whomp! Fucking dual punch. In the blink of an eye, Mia and Satoko's elbows smashed into my face.
何？
レナに汚ねえもん見せやがって。
この大関助こまし。重複して差し上げますでございます。
違う誤解だ。
A dark billowing aura flowed from both Mion and Satoko. It's no good. They're gonna kill me.
みーちゃん、なんだかわかんないけど誤解だよ。ケイチ君はオットセイさんのキーホルダーですよ。
Rika-chan stuck her hand in my pocket and pulled out the keychain.
昔、夏休みの宿題で作ったと言ってますです。恥ずかしいので、めったに人に見せないとも言ってますですよ。ちっちゃくて可愛くて、精一杯頑張ったって感じがとっても素敵だったよ。
Oh.
なんだ。てっきりおじさんはケイちゃんの。
Keiichi's pervert. Brat.
さすがミオさんですわ。間違える方向もワイルドですこと。
They slung insults at each other and looked like they were ready to tear into each other at any second. I beg of you. If I'm in the clear, would you mind getting off of me? You were interrupted by the flash of a camera. My goat. My goat.
Yeah, Mina.
Look at him.
相変わらず元気そうだね。
It's Tomotaki-san. As I lay crumpled on the ground, Mion and Satoko continued to bicker above me. Rika-chan was patting me on the head, and Rena was still in Kaiute mode. It was probably quite a lively scene.
こんばんはではございますが、レディーに断りもなくお写真を撮るのはエチケット違反でございますことよ。
そうだな。少なくともサトコの許可は必要ない。
Yeah, she doesn't. She's not lady. She has no rights. Satoko dug her heel into me.
こんばんは。明日帰られちゃうんですよね。素敵な写真はいっぱい撮れましたか？
おかげさまでね。いい絵がたくさん撮れたよ。
富武のおじさまに会えるのも今晩限りなのね。お名残惜しいですわ。いい加減とっととメジャーデビューしてくださいよね。
相変わらず口が悪いな。その毒舌もまた半年聞けないかと思うと残念だよ。
No.
せいぜい今夜を楽しんでらしてくださいな。明日の夜にはもう東京なんですからね。
She doesn't seem to like him.
So
Like,
da ne.
all.
星が見える夜空なんてまた半年お預けだもんね。
Tomotaki-san looked up at the night sky cheerfully. At the moment, Even though he's smiling, I sensed a bit of sadness.
富武さん、いっそ住めばいいじゃないですか。ひなみ沢。
Tomitaki-san was speechless.
確かに不便なとこです。店もないし、娯楽もないし、何もないかもしれないけど。
Everyone knew what I was trying to say. Tomitaki-san was also well aware. So Rina, Mion, Satoko, and Rika-chan, none of them butted in.
俺はまだここに引っ越してきて一月も経たないからよくわからないけど。
Normally, I'm a really talkative guy, but in situations like this, I'm at a loss for words. Even though all of this was happening in such a boisterous setting, it felt like all the background noise was fading into the distance.
ここにはきっと。
Tomitaki-san rested his head on me gently, silencing me.
ありがとな、ケイイチ君。ミオンちゃんにレナちゃん、サトコちゃんにリカちゃん。
Tomitaki-san's smile was so slight it looked like it was going to crumble at any minute, but it was warm.
僕もここに住めたらきっと楽しいだろうなって思うよ。
Those might have been cruel words coming from a kid who didn't need to worry about working to feed himself. A hand touched my back. It was Rena.
ケイチ君、大人をいじめちゃかわいそうだよ。
Background clamor of the festival returned.
ま
No.
たしばらくのお別れなんですからね。今夜は富武さんにもたくさん楽しんでもらわなくっちゃ。
When Rena smiled, the mood instantly got brighter.
そうだね。ぜひそうさせてもらうよ。
あ、ねえねえみーちゃん、どうだろう。富武さんを部活に入部させてあげるのは。
That's a great idea. Or so I thought, but Mion had a snobbish look on her face. Ugh.
入部条件の一つにひなみ沢在住ってのがあるんだけどね。
Bullshit. Cancel that rule right
そ
now.
んなみーちゃん、今日くらい意地悪しなくても。
コツコツ毎年来てるからね。名誉市民と認定してあげよう。
やったー。さてさて、
He got his Hinamizawa Star Citizen Pass.
こんな旬を過ぎたご老体にこの私の相手が
Age
務まるでござい
well
ましょうか
past
し
his
ら。
prime. Okay.
老快な大人の知恵を見せてもらいましょうです。
へへ、俺たちの若さについてこられるかな。
Tomitaki-san stepped back slightly at our audacious grins.
部長、園崎美音の名において名誉市民富武氏の我が部への入部を許可する。
Her words were quickly drowned out by our cheers.
なんだいその部活ってのは。
我が部はだな、複雑化する社会に対応するため活動ごとに提案されるさまざまな条件か、時には準教、あるいは逆境からいかにして。
レナは弱いからいじめないでほしいな。仲良くやろうね。子供のごっこ遊びと侮るつもりなら好都合でございますわ。
身ぐるみ剥いで地獄の底に叩き落としてやるぜ。
つまりみんなでゲームして遊ぶ部活です。
Of course, Rika-chan was the only one to give an answer that made sense.
よーし、望むところだよ。その挑戦を受けて立とうじゃないか。お手柔らかに頼むよ、先輩方。
Tomitaki-san got riled up and did a victory pose like he's 10 years younger. That's perfect. We continued walking through the festival with Mion in the front. Now we looked like a family of 6. It had some intensity to it.
ルールはいつも通り。ビリにはもちろんお約束の罰ゲーム。
Tomitaki-san was a bit surprised, but to us it was just the same as always. Regardless of how terrible a penalty it was,
負けなきゃいいんだからね。
Rena was also brimming with determination. She didn't have any intention of losing.
そうだな。
I tousled Rena's hair to lighten the mood. She giggled to hide her embarrassment.
なるほど。これが童心ってやつなんだな。
Ah, the joy of youth, Tomitaki-san. Indeed. Tomitaki-san whispered that to nobody in particular. At that moment, we heard an old man call out in a strong voice. Looking over, I realized it was the man Mion had greeted right before the festival.
来たかい。その先の嬢ちゃん、今年は大人数みたいじゃねえの。
あんたの店根こそぎかっさらいに来たよ。
His stall was a shooting gallery. It was the usual setup where you had to knock down the prize you wanted with a cork gun.
ルールは簡単。3発撃って得られた景品のデカさで勝負しよう。
Everybody shouted their agreement. There was no need to consider how to win since the condition for a victory was simply size. The biggest prize at the stall, it went without question. It was that one, wasn't it?
あのクマさん、かわいいよ。
Ah, teddy bear. Rena was gazing longingly at a large stuffed animal. It was intentionally placed on an unsteady platform, so it was possible to get it if you hit the right spot.
と一瞬思わせる絶妙な配置が見事だな。
さすがケイチさん。一発でカンパすると思いましたわ。
ここは無難にキャラメルや人形を狙うのが定石のようだね。
The intent analysis had already begun. In this club, you'll get eaten alive if you don't come prepared. Everything hinges on what you plan, what you can come up with before the main event. At some point, a large crowd had gathered around us, making a big fuss. There was this much of a following for a club's infamous event? Well, yeah,
クマさんを落とせれば勝利は確定しますですね。
you guys got told to be careful this time, so yeah.
3発しかないんだぜ。それを確かめるために使うには重いな。
へいへい。他のお客さんも待ってるんだぜ。最初のチャレンジャーは誰からだい？
先に挑戦した方が楽な景品を狙えて有利かもしれないけど、鉄砲の癖が見えないうちの挑戦は危険だね。
Tomitaki-san's take on the situation is pretty good. I get the feeling he's covered wars, you know. He gets what our club is about.
じゃあさ、公平にじゃんけんで決めるのはどうかな。どうかな。
結局それしかないかね。じゃんけん。
After a couple of matches, it ended with Mion being first.
一番は避けたかったんだけど、ま、ハンデってことにしとくかな。おっちゃん、10。
そらよ。
And the shooting range guy handed her a rifle. Mion looked it over intently. She didn't forget to check the cork bullet either.
オッケー。この銃はおろしたてだね。癖はなし。悪くない。
Mion raised the gun in one swift motion. It's completely different from her careful inspection. She's shooting from the hip. Oh, come on. You know, Modern for 2 fucking fully taught you to aim down your sights. You shoot from the hip, you just hit it all over the place, and it makes you look like an ass. Fire. Reload. Fire. Reload. Fire. Reload. Oh, flop. Flop, flop. 3 candy boxes fell, one after the other. Ah, she went safe. A big haul. The crowd paused in a moment of awe and then erupted in cheers. God damn it.
やるでございますわ。
Tomitaki-san was at a loss for words after seeing such shooting prowess.
すごいよみーちゃん。3つ。
Her accuracy was incredible. Her choice of targets wasn't bad either. The three Mion had gone after were fairly large and pretty easy to knock over. They were all targets with a very high return on investment.
2番手は誰？さとこ？気をつけて。弾が軽い。
Next was Satoko. The rifle looked a bit big for her lithe body, but it didn't seem like she had any problem with the weight.
やはりここは大物狙いで行かせてもらいますわ。
She proclaimed that she's going after the teddy bear. Damn, Satoko, such a bold move.
クマさんを落とせばその時点でさとこちゃんのトップは確定するね。さとこちゃん頑張れ。
Satoko was the opposite of Mion. She aimed at the target quite carefully and squeezed the trigger.
弾が軽いですわ。
First two bullets stuck the bear in the torso, but it only shifted a bit. You need to aim higher towards the head or it won't work. Satoko's third bullet wasn't aimed at the bear, but at the candy box below its arm.
残念でございますけれど、私にクマは2が勝ちすぎているみたいですわね。
She went boldly after the big catch, but since she switched over to less impressive play at the last second, the crowd only gave a strained laugh. Are they laughing because she lacked the courage? Those fools know nothing.
さとこ、いい仕事をするじゃん。腕を上げたね。
The palm of Mion's outstretched hand went pump as she tapped down lightly on Satoko. She appeared to just be talking hot air, but this was actually completely calculated. Damn that Satoko, just to avoid being in last place, she dared to switch over to an easy target. Without shame or honor. Magnificent.
クマはレナさんに譲るでございますわ。健闘をお祈りしましたよ。ありがとね、さとこちゃん。クマさんかいいよ。
Rina was up next. She couldn't hit the broadside of a barn as regular Rina, but she said that bear was Caillou.
レナちゃんはどうだろうね。一つくらい当たるといいんだけれど。
富武さんはちょっとレナを甘く見てますね。
It's Rina, you know. It's Rina Ryugu, you know? If I was to get that teddy bear... She is the big boss. She's the legendary soldier. Tomitaki-san wheeled around to see what all the commotion the spectators were making was about. If it was to get that bear, she'd be able to shoot through a pinhole. The one known as Rina Ryugu, the legendary soldier, could do it. Boss. Anyway. Rina couldn't hide her excitement over the bear's slow rocking. Now Rina couldn't lose.
さすがレナさんですわ。冷静を失えば失うほどに。
強い。
Another big cheer. Rina's bullet hit the bear's forehead again. Not enough, the bear seemed to wobble more than before.
でも無理かもしれませんですね。
いや、わからないよ。レナちゃんの腕だったらひょっとすると。
Well, Tomitaki-san was just excited as the crowd. Riki-chan's analysis was not swayed by emotion. If Rina had 10 more shots, then she could surely knock it over. But with just one more, no matter how you looked at it, no go. The crowd let out a dejected groan. She had shot it right in the forehead 3 times. It was a bit late, but they gave her a good round of applause for the attempt.
コマさんお持ち帰り。
Oh, she should be praised for her valor, but she had no trophies to show for it. Then at that moment, the old man flicked one of the candy boxes with his finger and handed it to Rena.
こいつはジョーちゃんのだぜ。
くれるの？レナに？
あんなすげえの見せられて手ぶらで返しちゃお天道様に申し訳が立たねえぜ。
Oh, there's another shower of applause. Rena turned bright red and I pulled her back over to us by her hand.
頑張ったじゃないかよ。かわいいモードのレナにゃ驚かされるぜ。
惜しかったよ、クマさん。
It's easy to see that I only needed a little more to be knocked over. Rena had done quite a lot for me. I still needed to pay her back for that delicious picnic.
よっしゃ、そんなら俺が。
僕が取ったらプレゼントするよ。
What? Tomitaki-san had stolen the words right out of my mouth.
お願いね、富武さん。
The goat.
頑張れ。
Damn you, old man, Tomitaki. Stealing the good parts for yourself. A small hand stretched over and fell gently on my head just before I was overcome with frustration.
ケイイチもファイト王ですよ。
Faito. Tomitaki-san carefully studied the bear. Setting aside, he shouldered the rifle while holding the other 2 shots in his hand. He's
どういうこ
trained.
とだ？
間違いない。富武のおっさんの狙いは。
I told you, he's covered wars. He knows what he's doing. The fucking explosions. God damn it. Plop, the time between shots was short. It's meaningless to shoot again once it stopped shaking. So Tomitaki-san was relying on rapid fire to win the battle. It's visibly wobbling much more than it ever had before. That was all. It still didn't fall over.
残念だった。
Aww. All of Rena's momentary expectation for watching it sway violently turned into a dejected sigh.
結構いけると思ったんだけどな。
男だとキャラメルはもらえないようでございますわね。
That was it. It meant Tomitaki-san had no spoils of war.
つまりケイちゃんとリカちゃんは手堅く楽なものを撃ち落とせばビリ回避ってわけだね。
ビリ回避か。あ、すみませんね。
今度はケイイチ君の番だよ。検討。
I was the 5th shooter. I took the rifle from Tomitaki-san. If I took the ruthless route as Mion suggested, then I'd go for something insignificant. Except, when I picked up the rifle, I definitely got a feeling from it. It was burning passion. Passed down to me by Tomitaki-san. The grit of not being man enough to fell the bear that Reno wanted. Yes, that's right. If I didn't aim for the bear, then I wouldn't be a man.
約束しちまったからな。レナに。
約束ってなんだろう。
あのクマを撃ち落としてレナにプレゼントするって。
それって。
Oh. The crowd went wild when they saw our conversation. God, that's not it. 5 men of the crowd. If I didn't do this, then Rena might mug the old man running the stall on his way home. No, that's not it. That's not it at all. Why can't I just express my honest feelings?
ケイイチさんも男を見せますのね。 でも実際どうやってクマを落とす気ですの？レナや富武の玉で幾分傾きはしましたですが、難しいと思いますです。
Well, this is a good thing. Keiichi's middle name is Ramirez.
も
He's
っと
got
素早い
this.
連射力があれば一撃ごとの揺れにパワーを上乗せできるのに。
頑張ってケイイチ君。
After taking 2 deep breaths, I shouted over to the guy.
鉄砲をもう2丁貸してくれ。
Huh? The crowd murmured amongst themselves.
ケイイチさんは何を企んでいるのでしょう。一人じゃ3丁は扱えないですのよ。
読めたよ。ケイちゃんも考えたじゃん。
Mion was able to figure it out magnificently.
つまり一番時間がかかってるのがこのコルク玉の装填なんだよ。
そうだよね。じゃあ先に弾を詰めた鉄砲を3つ並べておけば。
Tomotaki-san went silent, peering at me and the bear through his lens. His photographer's blood predicted a miracle would occur. And then the crowd finally picked up on what I was planning. They let out a great cheer. They chanted my name, Keiichi, Keiichi. Rapid fire is the key. If I miss, all is for naught. Phew. After letting out a deep breath, I paused. Relax. Now. Oh my god, he's activating Deadeye or something. That moment, it felt like time itself had stopped. He activated Deadeye! I felt like I could see the trajectory of the bullets. Hit it. And knock it down, or maybe he's more like Point Man. The first shot hit the bear on its head. The second, the third. The bear swayed hard. And then... Yeah! Brother got it. The cheers began before the stuffed animal even finished falling off the shelf. The guy caught it before it hit the ground and tossed it over to me.
まさか本当に落としやがるとはな。乾杯だぜ。
Fucking...
すごいや。おめでとうケイイチ君。
ケイイチさんも頭を使えるようになりましたわね。少しは見直しましたですの。
俺一人で落としたわけじゃないぜ。みんなで当てて少しずつずらして落としたんだ。
Yeah,
こ
teamwork.
いつは俺たち全員の戦果だぜ。
そうそう、全員の力の結晶だね。
You didn't help. You went for easy
ミー
targets.
は一発も当ててません
Yeah,
です。
he fucking... After holding up the teddy bear like it was a championship trophy, I handed it to Rena.
そうだ。こいつは俺から、いや、いつもうまい弁当ありがとな。
Rena, thinking she was never actually going to get it, was momentarily speechless.
ダメだよケイイチ君。だってこれはみんなの。
じゃあ落としたのは俺。だからこれは俺の。俺のだからレナにやる。
I pushed the stuffed animal towards her again. This time she embraced it and accepted it.
俺が引っ越してきてからいろいろ面倒を見てくれたよな。すげえ感謝してるんだぜ。ありがとな。
Aww.
ケイイチ
Aww.
君、ありがとう。
Rena dove at me. Mion told me a few days later that Rena kissed me, but I didn't realize it during all the excitement at the time. I remember what I was trying to say to Tomotaki-san earlier. There really isn't much of anything here. There are lots of things you can't find anywhere else. I gained a lot from coming to Hinamizawa, especially at that moment. The crowd's cheers echoed on and on. Aww. From the altar set up in front of the shrine, the drums sounded with a booming echo. It is the finale of the festival.
じゃあ僕は がお先に行くですよ。
おっと、僕も早く行っていいポジションを確保しないとな。じゃあみんな、後ほど。
Both Rika-chan and Tomitaki-san gave their farewells and disappeared into the crowd.
二人ともお勤めしっかりでございますよ。ささ、参りましょうでございます。
うん。リカちゃんのあで姿を見に行きますかね。行こう。
ああれ、レナは何やってんだよ。
ケイチくん、兄ちゃん、助けて。
Since she was carrying such a ridiculously large stuffed animal, she was being carried by the flow of the
何
people.
やってんだあいつ。熊の世話で手一杯なんだな。
It's a big bear.
じゃあケイちゃんにはレナの世話を頼むかね。私はサトコの世話で忙しいし。
誰がミオンさんの世話になるでございますの？
Sadako, read the room.
痛い。手引っ張らないでくださいまし。
Before losing sight of Mion, I grabbed the back of Rena's collar.
ケイチくん、そこ違う。掴むとこ違う。
注文のうるさいやつだな。どこならいいんだ？
Hey yo, what the fuck? Keiichi. Grab her hand. I didn't feel ashamed at all. Rena was ashamed enough for the both of us. I grabbed onto Rena's hand and dashed after Mion and the
置いて
others.
かれる。早く行こうぜ。
I didn't realize Rena's hand was so delicate. Maybe she needed a bit more exercise and nutrition. That wasn't what I meant, not at all. My ears burned. I tried to keep calm. I repeated the phrase, keep it together, Keiichi Mayabara in my mind. But it didn't look like I'd be able to anytime soon. I really didn't want Rena to see my face right then, so I pushed onwards, dragging her along without looking back even once. Damn, so soon. So soon. Keiichi, my god. There's already a huge group of people gathered at the altar in front of the shrine. The fire at the altar made it as bright as midday and just as hot. There was a pile of futons warded with sanctified rope in front of the altar. Come to think of it, they did say it was a festival where they did something with the cotton and futons. Yeah, they like yank it out and let it down the river.
ケイチさん、レナさん、こちらでございますのよ。
Sadako waved her hand from the front row.
お、すまんすまん。
Making our way through the mass of people, we reached the spot they'd saved.
どう？ちょっとはレナとドキドキできた？
やっぱりてめえ、そういうつもりだったのか。
Damn punk. Instead of replying, Mion gave us a perverse grin.
レナはどうだった？ケイちゃんの手って意外に大きいとか思わなかった？
Oh my god, she fucking knock her out? Rena turned bright red, pumps of steam shooting out of her. I heard something slice through the air and turned around to see Mion on the ground with a welt on her face.
ミオン、お前、いつ食らったんだ？
歯うの、歯とうの間くらいだったかな。
Fucking
レナ、
Viper striked her.
照れ隠しに友達を殴るのは良くないぞ。
レナ、殴ってないよ。知らないもん。
Thump. The thunderous beat of the drum echoed, silencing the crowd.
お静かになさいませ。始まりですわ。
It was a solemn ritual. Rika-chan entered dressed as a shrine maiden, followed by members of the municipal committee. The elders all looked at Rika-chan and clasped their hands in praise. The only thing allowed to disturb the profound silence was a flash from Tomitaki-san's camera.
リカちゃんが持ってるあのでかいのはなんだ？
祭事用のクワだよ。巫女さんしか触っちゃいけない神聖な農具なの。
is an awkward shape for a piece of farm equipment, not uncommon for something used in rituals. After reciting a Shinto prayer, Rika-chan approached the pile of futons gathered at the altar. She swung the hoe skillfully, plowing it into the futons. Each and every little move in this performance probably had to be done in a little certain way. Without a doubt, this was a
今
ritual.
度はなんだ？布団叩きかな？
あれはね、人間に代わって冬の病魔を吸い取ってくれたお布団を清めてるの。
ケイちゃんのお布団叩きって表現もまあ外れじゃないかね。
Rika-chan's face was already dripping with sweat. The hoe was probably really heavy. She staggered side to side with the momentum of each swing. Satoko looked on, silently lending her support.
心配か？
リカは毎日お餅つきの杵で練習してましたですの。きっとやりきるでございますわ。
Satoko's hands were sweaty, and whenever Rika-chan started to sway a little, she held her breath.
ミオンとかは巫女役立候補しなかったのかよ。リカちゃんにあの重さは気の毒だよ。
そりゃ頼まれりゃやるけどね。まあ誰にでも務まるものでもないし。
そうだよな。ミコは清らかじゃないとダメだもんな。
Gah! Mion drove her elbow into my side. With the thud of the big drum, Rika-chan gave a solemn bow and descended from the altar. That triggered a round of generous applause. After the Shinto priest had raised up the cleansed futons like a portable altar, all the spectators stood up. Following after the priest, we all marched on at a moderate pace. They descended the shrine's giant stairs and
今度は
aligned.
何が始まるんだ？布団を川で洗濯か？
だから綿流しだってば。
Title card. Yeah. The procession continued right up to the bank of the stream. A fire was stoked high and it was bright as day here too. People started crowding around it and clamoring.
順番。並ぶよ、ケイチ君。
Wonder what was up. Maybe we get some holy wine, some communion crackers, red and white bean buns.
食べ物じゃないよ。だから綿。
But of course, they didn't call it the Watanagashi for nothing. I finally understood. The municipal committee members pulled out the cotton from inside the futons and balled it up like mochi, handing it out to people. Rena dove into the line and brought out some for me as well. We then proceeded to the bank of the
ケイチ
stream.
君は初めてだから、レナのやり方を真似するんだよ。
She held the cotton in her right hand and waving her hand as if to purify it, she touched it to her chest, or forehead, chest, navel, and both thighs.
これを3回繰り返すの。心の中では、お社様ありがとうって唱えるんだよ。
お社様ってなんだよ。あの神社の神様の名前か？
ひなみ沢の守り神様なの。ご利益もあるけど、たたりもあるんだからね。ちゃんと敬わないとダメだよ。
That sounded like a pretty frightening god, but, well, when in Rome. I was officially a resident of Hinamizawa now, after all. Doing as Rena showed me, I touched the cotton over myself 3 times. Thank you, Oyashiro-sama. Thank you, Oyashiro-sama. Oyashiro-sama.
これでね、体についてた悪いのが、この綿に吸い取られたの。で、あとは沢の流れにそっと流してね。おしまい。
Together, Rina and I set our pieces of cotton afloat on the surface of the water. The flowers of cotton blooming in the water had sucked out all the bad illnesses from Hinamizawa and drifted off, disappearing into the distance. It was wonderful, like those floating lantern festivals I'd seen on TV. The best part, though, was feeling like this rite of passage had made me a true resident of Hinamizawa. That's the shrine god's name.
はじめはちょっとした不安だった。誰かを傷つけたいなんて考えもしなかった。それでも不安は孤独を生んで疑念へと変わり、やがて黒い殺意が心を闇に閉ざしていった。戻らない日常。少年は足を踏み出す。その先が奈落の底だとも気づかずに。鬼隠し。信じたいと思う気持ちが生んだ悲劇。流した涙は懺悔か、それとも怨恨か。
Repentance or tears of resentment. Oh, okay. That sounded sort of like Rika, or maybe someone else? Weird. I was staring off into the stream. I somehow got separated from Rina. I wasn't very lonely, though. I know this place now. This is where I live. My home. It's probably better if I just stay here instead of wandering around aimlessly. Someone would surely find me while I was enjoying the evening breeze. I heard a familiar voice. It was Tomitaki-san's. I headed towards it.
どうですか、富武さん。いい写真はいっぱい撮れましたか？
ああ、おかげさまでね。
Tomitaki-san was with a girl. I felt a little like I was intruding.
圭一君はどうだったかしら？
She's kinda cute.
お祭りは楽しめた？
And the way she spoke, it seemed like she was a resident of Hinamizawa. I really should try hard to remember people's faces here. What was her name?
その、楽しかったです。
My face must have given away how desperately I was trying to remember her name, because she gave a lighthearted chuckle.
ケイチ君はまだ引っ越してきて日が浅いんだそうだね。他の子たちととても親しげだったから、とてもそうは思えなかったよ。
But that's how it looked. It was probably all thanks to Rita and Mion.
あなたも今日のお祭りに参加して自分がひなみ沢の人間になれたんだって自覚できたんじゃないかしら？
どうなんでしょうね。
おや、ケイチ君らしくない返事だね。
I'd try to get used to Hinamizawa, but there's still plenty of things I didn't know. The faces of people I'd met, for example. Things that had happened in the past as well.
なんだ。その程度のことで君は疎遠に感じていたのかい？
疎遠なんて大げさなもんじゃないですよ。ただなんていうのか。
The incident at the damn construction site, the fighting over it and the other conflicts, that terrible incident they pretended they didn't even know about whenever I brought it up. And though it was in the past, as someone living in Hinamizawa, it wasn't wrong to want to know about both the good and bad that happened here.
それを知ることで君が納得するなら、僕の知っている範囲で何でも教えるよ。
Tomitaki-san's smile made me more relieved than I'd ever been. It's hard to think of what to ask when someone said, "Ask me anything," though. And when there's so much I wanted to ask.
じゃあ、ダム工事について聞かせてください。ひなみ沢が水没するとかいう大事件だったんですよね。
ダムについては、多分ここの人に聞いた方が詳しいと思うけどな。
They're remarkably dodgy about this.
ま、僕が知っている範囲でいいんなら、新聞で読んだ程度だけどね。
Tomitaki-san's eyes entered an unfocused gaze as he searched through his memory. Then he spoke.
ダムの計画が決まったのは7、8年くらい前なんだ。黒部に次ぐ巨大な計画だったと聞いてるね。
There were three major issues in Japan at that time. Improving inter-island transportation infrastructure, meaning the higher demand for electricity, and flood control. There was a boom of dam building due to the massive economic stimulus they provided, on top of generating electricity and flood control. Hinamizawa had the right conditions to support dam construction, so it was singled out.
ダムの完成に伴って生まれるダム湖はかなりの面積になったらしいね。この日南沢からずーっと上流の矢郷地あたりまでが全部沈むことになったらしい。
しかしなんだって人が住んでる日南沢にわざわざダムを作るんすか？もっと他の人が住んでないところに作ればいいのに。
よくは知らないんだが、ダムを作るのに適した地形ってのがあったって聞いてるね。
Of course there were protests here in Hinamizawa. Rika-chan had said that they had fought. From that choice of words, I'd guess things had turned violent.
裁判にもなったし、議会でも取り上げられたんだ。東京の新聞にも載ったよ。
He had told me all about that as well. I'm sure every resident of Hinamizawa had united to fight together. The feeling of solidarity found here, which could not be expressed properly with mere words, was likely brought about by that battle.
で、いろいろな不祥事や汚職が発覚してね、ややこしいことになっているうちに工事中止が決まったんだそうだよ。
If I wanted to know, now is my only chance to ask. There's certainly a bizarre incident that boys my age would be curious about. I felt a little shame from the fact I was petty enough to have my curiosity piqued by Rina and Mion's refusal to even talk about the event. But I figured I might as well ask since I had the chance. Just so I could stop thinking about it so much.
バラバラ殺人ってありましたよね。
あったよ。偶然その時期に日南沢にいてね。だからよく覚えてるよ。
Tomitake-san's answer was nonchalant in contrast to my hesitantly forced out
ちょう
question.
ど4年前の今頃だったかな。あれも確か綿流しの日だったね。
Debate on whether to continue construction on the dam was in disarray. Scandal after scandal rocked the project near the end. The instant that was the final nail in the coffin for the dam project. A fight at the dam construction site ended in the victim being murdered. Fearing prosecution, the 6 assailants divided the remains into 6 pieces and each hid one. 5 of the 6 criminals turned themselves in out of guilt, but one was still on the run. The right arm he had hidden had yet to be found. The major details lined up with what was told in the tabloid I'd read earlier. It certainly was a tragic incident, but it wasn't so terrible that Rina and Mion needed to hide it from me. I guess they didn't want someone who just moved here to have a negative impression of Hinamizawa. I felt grateful for having friends who worried so much about me, as well as shame for still being so interested in it.
当時はダムのトラブルの末期だったからね。お社様のたたりだって言ってずいぶん騒がれたんだよ。
curse. Okay.
お社様のたたりか。
So is it not like a Kool-Aid situation? Could it be a curse? Oyashiro-sama was the name of the god at the shrine that held the festival today, if I recall correctly. I see. Their guardian deity rained divine punishment on the evil dam construction for trying to flood Hinamizawa. Oh.
若い人たちはそうは思わなかったみたいだけれど。
You got kind of an eerie smile, lady.
お年寄りたちはお社様のたたりだと疑わなかったみたいね。
The woman with Tomitake-san chuckled mischievously. Tomitake-san began laughing with her. It was so infectious I ended up laughing as
で
well.
も今ではどうかしらね。結構いるんじゃないかしら。若い人にも。
いるって何がですか？
信じてる人だよ。お社様のたたり。
The woman's lips were still curled into a smile, but her expression turned stern.
その後ね、毎年起こるんだよ。決まって今頃にね。
怒るって何が？
A murder every here? Tomitaki-san paused for a moment as to build up some suspense. Then he whispered to me as if someone might have been listening.
毎年綿流しの日になるとね、誰かが死ぬんだよ。バラバラ殺人の翌年の綿流しの日、ひなみ沢の住人でありながらダムの誘致派だった男が旅行先で崖下の濁流に転落して死亡した。奥さんに至っては死体も上がってない。
ひなみ沢の人間でありながらダムに賛成していた男ですからね。
So he
事
could have
故
been
当時、
silenced?
お年寄りたちはお社様のたたりだとささやきあったものよ。
The woman chuckled mischievously again.
さらに翌年、綿流しの晩、今度は神社の神主が原因不明の奇病で急死した。奥さんはその晩のうちに沼に受水自殺した。
There's that damn bog that's mentioned again. That was mentioned in one of the tips that there's a bog that they believe is like bottomless, like the swamp. And it's named after like a demon or
神社の神
something.
主って今日のこの神社の神主ですか？
The woman
村
nodded.
人たちはお社様のお怒りを鎮めきれなかったんだって噂したわね。
さらに翌年、これもまた綿流しの晩、今度は近所の主婦が撲殺体で発見された。
Housewife. Up until now, all these mysterious deaths were people involved with the dam or had connections with Shirasama. With that in mind, could the housewife have been involved in some way
その
too?
通りよ。
The woman stated slyly. No. It's more menacingly.
被害者の一家はね、その2年前に転落死したダム誘致派の男の弟一家に当たるのよ。
弟本人はまだ生きてるらしいね。でもやはりかなり気にしてね、近隣の町に引っ越してったらしいよ。
Huh. For a while, I stood there with my mouth agape. The battle of the damn construction site with Hinamizawa's future at stake, and the murder at the center of it all. That was all I knew, and that was all I wanted to ask about, but that wasn't all there was to the story. Homicide, body disposal, accidental deaths, terminal illness, suicide, fatal beatings. I'm a pretty level-headed person. I don't really want to believe in curses, but the freakish deaths happened every year on the day of Watanagashi, and all of them were related to the dam construction? It's easy to dismiss each of them as coincidences by themselves, but when you put them all together, dismissing all of them as coincidence would then defy logic. I don't believe in curses, but every single year on the day of the Watanagashi, somebody or something makes it happen without fail. The woman chuckled again as if she picked up on what I was thinking. Felt like she was saying maybe there was, maybe we frightened him, stuff like that. I felt embarrassed at being read so easily. I pressed Tomitaki-san to continue, a bit of impatience and irritation in my tone.
で、その翌年の綿流しの晩にもまた人が死ぬわけですよね。今度は誰です？
さーてね、圭一君は誰だと思うかな？
That's this year, Keiichi, I think is what he's saying. Though he said it didn't agree with me, the sarcastic tone ticked me
は
off.
ぐらかさないでくださいよ。俺は結構真剣に。
まあまあ、圭一君、落ち着いて。
I realized when she tried to calm me down that I had been panicking.
別にはぐらかしたつもりはないんだよ、圭一君。つまり、その翌年の綿流しってのは、つまり。
今日よ。
When Tomitaki-san hesitated to say it, she finished for him. I broke into a cold sweat. I really didn't like the direction this was headed.
みんな口にしないけど、今夜また何か起こるんじゃないかって思ってる。
こ こんなにお祭りで賑わってるのに。
They might be trying to cover up the feeling.
あのね、去年の被害者の主婦は不審人者だったらしくてね、綿流しのお祭りに参加しなかったらしいの。
今年の綿流しに参加しないと
There's a rumor.
お社様の怒りに触れるかもしれないって噂。圭一君なら聞いてるんじゃないかい？
Never even heard a whisper of that rumor.
じゃあみんなのお祭りの参加はたたりを恐れて？
そうなんじゃないかと思うね。今年の綿流しは例年になく参加者が多いよ。
やっぱりみんな怖いんでしょうね。お社様のたたり。
I couldn't utter a single word. In this modern age, where we've made progress in all scientific fields, shedding light on the unknown and misunderstood, where black and white television had been eradicated and we've sent men to the moon, even with all our accomplishments, this can exist in modern society?
桜ってことで近隣の町の子供会をかなり招待したらしいけど、やっぱり一連の事件を受けてあんまり参加はなかったみたいね。人集めに苦労してるって町会の人がぼやいてたもの。
警察もね、過去の事件は全て別個のもので関連性はないとしてるみたいだけどね。警備ってことで私服警官をだいぶ立たせてたみたいだよ。
Finally began to dawn on me why Rena and Mion were reluctant to talk. If nothing happened during this Watanagashi, everything would have been over with, and I'd be none the wiser. If nothing happened, all would be well. In that case, it would all end up being crazy talk. I should have just pretended I knew nothing from the beginning. Then they wouldn't have had to act like nothing happened. And we would have all gone back to our usual lives, or life as usual.
やっぱり刺激が強すぎたかしら。
The wind ran her fingers through her hair as she sighed.
いえ、そんな全然。
I tried to act strong, but that just served to emphasize how much the information had unsettled me. But seeing how I looked, Tomitaki-san appeared to regret saying anything. Letting out a sigh, he then spoke, forcing an awkward, upbeat demeanor.
まさか圭一君、たたりなんて信じてるわけじゃないだろう。
そりゃまあ。
全ての事件が原因不明で犯人も手口も謎っていうなら僕もたたりを疑ってもいいよ。だけど実際には違う。どの事件もちゃんと警察が捜査して真相や犯人を究明してる。
Hearing him say police made me feel a lot better. It's perfect for repelling the word curse.
例えば一番最初のバラバラ殺人言ったよね。犯人は一人を残して全員逮捕されてる。残った一人だって時間の問題さ。動機だって酒の上での口論からと判明してる。たたりなんかじゃないだろ。
That is true. If it didn't happen on the day of the Watanagashi, they wouldn't think it was related to the curse at all.
次の誘致派の夫婦の事故死だってそうさ。恨みを買う立場だったからね。警察が特に入念に捜査したと思うよ。それで発表は事故。他殺じゃない。
でもまた綿流しの日に起きたんですよね。
考えてもみなよ圭一君。ひなみ沢に敵が多かった彼が地元のお祭りにおちおち参加できると思うかい？彼にとっては綿流しの時期は特にひなみ沢に居づらい時期に違いないよ。だからわざわざこの時期に旅行をし、意図的にひなみ沢を離れようとしたんじゃないかな。
It wasn't a very clear explanation, but I sort of understood what Tomitaki-san was getting at. So I pressed on earnestly, asking more questions so I could convince myself.
じゃあ富武さん、その次に死んだ神主さんはどうです？原因不明の奇病だって。それもまたしても綿流しの日に。
神主さんはもっと説明がつきやすいよ。綿流しのお祭りは神主さんにとっては年に一度の大行事。 過労に体調不良が重なったんだろうね。あるいはもともと持病持ちだったのかもしれない。
でも奇病ですよ。この医学の進歩した時代に原因不明なんて。
尾ひれだよ。噂が噂を呼んだだけさ。2年立て続けに事件が起これば誰だって過敏になるよ。急死は確かに不自然だったかもしれないけど、こういう死に方をすると必ず警察が検視をする。で、事件性は発見されなかったんだろう。本当に偶然の病死なんだよ。
確か神主の奥さんが自殺してますよね。じゃあこれは？
すでに説明した通りさ。3年目の事件に村人たちは動揺していた。信心深い人たちはすぐにたたりだと決めてかかったのさ。もちろん神主の奥さんもね。自殺の際に死んでお社様の怒りをお鎮めするみたいな遺書が見つかったらしいし。
じゃあ次の主婦の事件は？またしても綿流しの日に。
この事件は犯人も逮捕されて解決してるよ。一種の異常者でひなみ沢のたたり騒ぎを面白がって再現したと自供してる。
じゃあ次の年の事件は？
Oh yeah, this year is the next year. Tomitagi-san gave a hearty
も
laugh.
う何も起こらないよ。今度こそね。お社様のたたりなんてもともとない。一連の偶然をあると信じている人たちがそうだと吹聴しているだけさ。
My internal computer finally got itself back on track. I felt a bit embarrassed by how childish I've become after losing control and panicking. I'm not completely convinced that it could be a Kool-Aid situation and they're like perpetrating that, like doing these murders and stuff and passing it off as if there was like a curse killing these people, whether it could be like a small group of people or maybe people outside of Hinamizawa.
僕は
But I
圭
guess
一
we'll
君
find
が
out
ひなみ沢を
eventually.
とても好きだと思ってることをよく知ってるよ。仮にお社様のたたりが実在したとしても、そんな圭一君にたたりがあるなんてとても思えないね。
I felt very relieved. I should probably just forget everything I heard tonight. I'll greet Rina and Mion tomorrow with the same smile as always. They'd probably also like tonight to end without incident so they can continue on tomorrow without having worried me. Perhaps seeing my change in attitude, the woman had been listening in, stretched as she got up from the rock she was standing on.
さてと、そろそろ私は戻らないとね。
おっと、僕も少々長くおしゃべりしすぎたかな。
There's so few people compared to the crowd from before, I can only make out a few groups of families enjoying the cool evening air. I looked at my watch. It seemed like we talked for the better part of an hour.
圭一君もお友達と一緒に来たんでしょ？みんなを探したら？
そうだった。みんな俺のことを探してるかもしれない。
女の子に探させるなんてなかなかの罪人だね。
じゃあね、おやすみなさい、圭一君。二郎さんもね。また後ほど。
Jiro-san, huh? Tomitagi-san seems to be quite the scoundrel himself. So his name is Jiro. He knows what the ladies like. After dusting off his backside, she disappeared into the crowd of people still busy cleaning up the shrine grounds.
ケイチくん、ごめんな
Ah.
さい。
In her place, Rena came running over. I could see all the others behind her. Speak of the devil.
悪いケイちゃん、すっかり話し込んじゃっててさ。
I'd completely forgotten about them while caught up in my own conversation, so we were even.
あら、富徳さんもご一緒でございましたの。ちょうどよかったですわ。今日の射的の結果発表がありますです。
I used his punishment.
そうだったね。結局ビリは僕なのかな。
In the end, after my dramatic victory, reached hands the last challenger, but there weren't many targets left. The ones remaining were all tiny and difficult to hit. She did take her time and aim, but all 3 shots completely missed. She was to end up sharing the loser's crown with Tomitaki-san. However, she did her little beeping cry in front of the owner and he turned to mush instantly. She's given a pack of gum as a consolation prize. Her methods were a bit audacious, but she did avoid being the loser rather magnificently. Devious.
思うにリカちゃんって結構タヌキだろ。
圭一の言ってる意味がわかりませんです。
Ah, yes, yes.
なわけでビリは富武さんに決まり。
Everyone cheered and applauded. Tomitaki-san smiled virally, slightly bewildered.
じゃあ富武さん、覚悟はいいかな？罰ゲーム。
え？あ、忘れてた。
You're too naive, Tomitaki-san. This is why you've got to avoid losing in our club. Mion pulled a felt-tip marker from her pocket. Oh, it's
Mion.
that.
武士の情けだ。せめて水星にしてやれ。優勢は辛い。
油性じゃないとダメだよ。お洗濯したら落ちちゃうじゃない。
なんだいお手柔らかに頼むよ。
Olive pinned his arms behind his back, and Mion approached him with the marker in one hand.
キュッキュッだ。
But she didn't write on Tomitaki-san's face. She wrote on the shirt he was wearing. You'd rather have your big break this year. Rena took up the marker next. Show me your photos next time, okay? Rena. It's a little heartwarming, and I just had to laugh. It's kinda cute.
これじゃあ罰ゲームってより寄せ書きじゃないか。
私は甘くはありませんのよ。ちゃんと罰ゲームでいきますわ。
Haha, dead last. Sadaka. Try harder next time, Rika. Aww.
圭一さんもどうぞでございます。
I couldn't decide what to write, but based on what kind of penalty this was probably the most appropriate. Come back and play again, Keiichi. Tomitaki-san was silent the entire time. At first he was quite bewildered, but now he had a different look on his face.
これを着たまま帰郷するのも罰ゲームのうちに入るのかな。
Aww.
もちろん。ちゃんと着たまま家に帰ってね。
次に来る時にも着てきてくれるといいな。いいな。
He appeared deeply moved. Embarrassment mixed with a wealth of other emotions made him turn a bright red. This is
わか
adorable.
った。次に来る時もこれを着てくるよ。約束する。
Everyone cheered and applauded. It's the finest parting gift possible for a buddy heading out tonight. I saw the woman who was with Tomitaki-san standing near the festival grounds. Seemed Tomitaki-san noticed her too and knew it was time to leave.
お連れ様がお待ちみたいじゃん。
I
そ
know
ろそろお時間かな。
he got his lady. Oh.
うん、そうみたいだね。
Tomitaki-san headed off towards her and seemed to apologize for making her wait. We all shouted stuff at Tomitaki-san. Each time we did, he looked back and waved his hand. Eventually he faded into the darkness of the night, out of sight. It was quite the casual farewell. This wasn't the first time any of us had seen someone off. They had done the same thing many times before.
行っちゃったね。
じゃ、うちらも引き上げるかね。
Rika-chan had to stay behind with the other committee members since they were having a meeting. Sadako was tagging along with her. I headed back home with the usual suspects. The walk back was quite lively, with talk of today's war stories. Should have done this, should have done that kind of stuff. Ren and I parted ways with Mion, then it's just the two of us. Then we got to my house and I parted ways with Rena too.
こんな時間だけど一人で大丈夫か？
うん、全然平気だよ。近いし、走っていくし。
変な奴がいたら大声出せよ。
出したら
Weirdo.
助けに来てくれるのかな
聞こえたらな。
聞こえるくらい大きな声を出すね。
To be fair, I think Rena could take like anyone in a fight. Barely spinning her arms around at high speed, Rena dashed off. She was fine. In that mode, not even an adult could stand against her. Yeah. Rena's cheerful presence disappeared and it finally became quiet again. She knows the basics of CQC and all that. The curse that not a soul mentioned even under their breath. The more I learned about it tonight, the more unsettling it became. It didn't show on any of their faces, but they're probably all quite concerned about it as well. But if nothing happens tonight, then it all just ends up being crazy talk. Nothing will happen. Nothing bad. Nothing at all.
どうしたのケイチ、
Foreshadowing.
そんなところで。中に入りなさい。風邪をひくわよ。
The fucking monkey paw is curling. It was my
母さん
mom.
は行った？渡流しのお祭り。
結局お父さんが起きなかったからね。行きそびれちゃったわ。残念。
Mom stuck her tongue out with a bit of an embarrassed look on her face. I really hope his mom doesn't die because of that, because Tomitagi-san mentioned a little passing bit of that. Okay, 4 tips, Jesus, okay. Alright, as per usual, we'll look at the tips. Hojo couples following instant, okay. It's a newspaper article from the June 1980 edition. On the afternoon of blank at 2 p.m., office employee 4X and his wife 4X of Hinamizawa Village in Shishibone Prefecture disappeared after falling 27 meters from the observatory, oh my god, platform in Shirakawa Prefecture. Police and firefighters searched downstream and discovered the body of 4X at around 7 p.m. that evening. His wife, 5X's, has yet to be found. The search has run into difficulties due to the effects of Typhoon 3 from the previous day. A pier railing at the observatory that the X's leaned on had broken, causing them to fall. The groundskeeping staff was questioned by the police in regards to facility deterioration, and if park maintenance was performed properly. So it was the first killing or murder or death, whatever you want to call. And this is the terminal thing, so from June 1980 edition, so the next year, on the afternoon of blank around 10 p.m. in the district of Hinamizawa Village in Shishibone Prefecture, the Shinto priest of the Furide Shrine passed away after an existing condition he was recovering from suddenly worsened. Parties close to this deceased said he was suffering from anxiety issues concerning the festival, which was to be held that day. Also, after X's death, his wife, X, went missing, leaving behind a farewell note. The police and local youth association continued the search. However, given the presence of the farewell message and the fact that the Onikakushi swamp is said to be bottomless, they've run into difficulties. Yeah, the fucking bog, the demon swamp. Okay, and this is gonna be 83. The housewife. It wasn't reported in the newspaper. Okay. Reported, not reported. Okay. Radio log. Clean unit 3.
3号です。感度良好。はい、3号了解。それから回転灯はつけないでお願いします。静かで願います。今、先生が到着しました。
運びたいそうですがどうしますか？どうぞ。
了解しました。先生に任せてください。
はい、了解です。ああ、応援も到着しました。先に写真撮らせた方がいいんじゃないですか？外車、もう無駄だと思いますし。
Victim. So someone died tonight. That was definitely like tonight, because first time, or first Watanagashi, second Watanagashi, third, and then this year's, because it's 1984. That's 1984. Ooh, this is rough. Okay. Now I'm curious who died this fucking... Who died... Oh wait, yeah. Up here. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's a curse. I'm buying in that the villagers are like eliminating threats. Maybe like the elderly, like the older generation, like it's kind of like a like a fucking Kool-Aid / like Hot Fuzz thing where it's like a small group of like the village elders are like forcing like these murders of people that, you know, don't have the best like regards for, you know, Hinamizawa. They don't like the place, or they're outsiders in some way, shape, or form now. Or just people that just have like an ill, or maybe just aren't, or just disrespecting Hinamizawa. That's my theory. If there's a fucking curse, that's gonna be interesting. That's gonna really throw a fucking wrench in my plans here, or my theory crafting. I'm 90% sure that police radio thing was them talking about there being another murder. So I imagine in the next episode, when I do, maybe we'll learn. Maybe it'll be one of those things they'll push it off. Because, you know, we're told the story via Keiichi, and we only really get the other bits via tips. So maybe he won't find out till a bit, but now I'm curious. But I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. We'll continue this whenever, Mion. I promise. But gave my bit for this episode. Good episode. Fucking long, though. Definitely a long chapter, and that little bit with the text and talking about who I assume Keiichi, and about how his life is heading towards an abyss. I think we're at the point where we're gonna be learning a lot more about these events, and we may see how they're gonna involve Keiichi, and how, I don't know. I'm a little bit worried for him, because he could be considered an outsider, but he loves Hinamizawa, so I don't want to be like worried that like the villagers are gonna like hurt him, especially since, you know, he does seem to be well liked for an outsider group. I don't know about the rest of his family, his mom and dad, but they don't seem to be hated. Just the new people. But I imagine we'll learn more about that as the series goes on. As per usual, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Higurashi When They Cry. And I hope everyone who watched this has a great rest of your day, or has a great, next day. And I'll see y'all in the next episode. See ya.